You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the November 2023 regular council meeting for the Municipality of Eastern Charlotte. I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, bylaws EC-08 respecting the fire department and EC-09 respecting remuneration of firefighters will have their third and final reading by title. Development agreements with Project Village regarding the Lewis Connors Lane project will be discussed. Under new business, bylaw EC-10, a planning fees bylaw, and Blacks Harbor bylaw Z.2.3, amendment to the rural plan, will have their first reading. If applicable, a second reading will be made, a request for the views of the Planning Review and Adjustment Committee will be made, and a date for public hearing will be set for these two bylaws. The Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership will be discussed, as will the reallocation of Fundy Bay fire funds. Now let's join Council at Macadavic Place in St. George.
I will now call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. here at Macadavic Place in St. George. Good evening and welcome to the November 2023 regular council meeting for Eastern Charlotte. This is our 11th council meeting for Eastern Charlotte. I welcome all those that are attending here tonight and those who are watching on TV and those that will be watching it later on the recorded YouTube version. I want to welcome and thank CHCO for being here tonight. Lucas Kohler is doing the camera tonight. Hey, Lucas. And Florence Metro's in the back doing the switching. In attendance tonight, we have Chris McKinnon sitting in for Jason Gaudette. And we also have Kara Hatt taking all the minutes tonight. Everybody knows Kara. She does a great job. Excellent. So thank you for being here tonight. That brings us to number 2 tonight, which is the adoption of the agenda, and I'll look for a motion for council to move that. Councillor Lee.
I move to adopt the agenda for the meeting of November the 15th, 2023. Regular meeting of council is presented.
And would you like to add the correspondence item to that tonight? I'm asking the question.
Sorry, what was that?
There is option B, which is to add to the agenda tonight, the correspondence item B tonight.
Okay, yeah, we can add that. So I move to adopt the agenda for the meeting of November 15th, 2023, regular meeting of council with the addition of correspondence item B, Eastern Charlotte Lions Club.
Great, excellent. Would there be a seconder for that? Councillor Lee, thank you very much. Any question or comment on that motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Okay. That brings us to 3, which is conflict of interest disclosure. This is your opportunity to declare a conflict of interest. If there's none tonight, we'll move on. 4 is adoption of minutes of the previous council meetings. The first one we have is October the 18th, 2023. I need a motion on the floor for that. Okay, Councillor McQuarrie. A seconder. Okay, Councillor McQuarrie, you want to go ahead and make that motion? Yeah, yes, you have to do one each one because there may be a problem with minutes of each one, so we have to do one at a time. Yep, and we have a motion on the floor, seconded by we got a whole bunch of them. Councillor Lee just beat Councillor McKay just by here. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to B, November the 7th meeting, a closed meeting of council. I need a motion for that. We have Councillor McQuarrie again. Great, we have a motion on the floor. That was seconded by Councillor Tidd, if I remember right. Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. And contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 4C, November the 8th, special meeting of council. I need a motion for that. Councillor McQuarrie. We have a motion on the floor by Councillor McQuarrie, seconded by Councillor Lee. Thank you very much. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to, we're moving right along to 5, business arising out of the minutes. There are none, no delegations tonight. Department reports. I'll go to, oh, did I miss something?
Oh, the general
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, I'm going to go to Chris McKinnon for that. He's going to be reading Jason's report tonight.
Yes, this report was prepared by the CAO, Jason Gadet. The finance team is busy with finalizing the draft of the 2024 budget. The financial statements are available on the website. Those would be the ones that were just reviewed and approved coming for the year 2022, individually for Blacks Harbor and St. George. They are available on the website. Originals have been sent to the province. We are working on drainage issues between Macadavic Place and the Granite Town Hotel. You may have noticed during the daylight hours, there's a big backhoe back here and a big ditch. Weekly work continues on the water and wastewater projects for St. George and Blacks Harbor water networks. In St. George, test wells are scheduled to start this month, and preliminary reporting and applications for lagoon work is underway. In Blacks Harbor, we have secured temporary land agreements with property owners on test wells in the Jackson Woodland Road aquifer. On the subject of Blacks Harbor water, staff conducts both daily and weekly water testing for biological chlorination levels and turbidity levels. Like the St. George Water Network, all water testing is set by the province's Department of Health, and reporting is audited. To date, all testing has been within permitted levels. However, there have been cases, particularly on the weekends and holidays, where we suspect levels will bounce up. In early 2024, we will be installing a 24/7 turbidity meter on the system. Staff is working on a use of municipal building and spaces policy, which will be coming to council over the next month. In addition, several bylaws are in the works, such as animal protection bylaw, which is moving through the draft. The tender auctions for the former Day Adventure Center buildings are now open. Once the buildings are removed, we will look at possible projects on the future use of the park area. An open house is scheduled for Monday, November 20th for interested parties to look through the buildings. The tender closes on Friday, December 8th at 1 p.m. Properties meeting weekly. Jason's meeting weekly with bylaw enforcement on 15+ dangerous and unsightly properties files. 3 files progress to council for enforcement of orders. The arena work continues on upgrades to the arena, waiting on lighting and electrical upgrades. Have completed an RDC funding restoration project for the municipal owned and maintained Blacks Harbor Community Cemetery. The project was the first of a 3-year restoration project, much like what was done with the St. Mark's Cemetery in St. George. Over the winter months, a number of additions will be made at the museum and archives. Work is being done to finalize an overview, scope, and cost of a preliminary study of water and wastewater services at Exit 56 in Upper Latang. Several public works and administration staff, along with some members of the fire department, completed a Narcan administration course. Narcan kits are in place at the municipal office, Macadavic Place, and the arena. And that is the general government report.
Thank you, Chris. You did a great job. The question or comment on this? I know it's not Jason's not here, but Chris will try to do his best on this. Councilor Dedirakis on it.
Please. Yeah, I have a question for our assistant clerk. A resident who lives in Penfield, they contacted me, and they were concerned. They work at Ridgeview Manor, which I guess is an independent living seniors home along the McKay Loop. They're concerned about speeding, and they were wondering if there could be signs put up. Who would they contact for that?
Like speed limit signs?
Yeah, speed limit signs, like or slow down signs. Is that a municipal issue or provincial?
That would be a DTI, Department of Transportation Infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll move along. And we have the building and planning report. And tonight we have Xander Gopin here tonight. Nice to have you here tonight, Xander.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think this is actually my first time the new council, but I think I know most folks from St. George or Blacks or Penfield, and I'm filling in for Alex tonight, so I might not be able to answer some of the questions, if there are questions, as in-depth as he could. In terms of PRAC, there were no Eastern Charlotte files at the September meeting. One private access subdivision off of Route 785 was approved at the October 19th meeting. We did a training session for PRAC on some new provincial regulations that came out, and the next PRAC meeting is tomorrow night, and depending on a motion tonight, there may be views on a bylaw for Eastern Charlotte for them to give their opinion on. That is for a rezoning bylaw for the property in the former Village of Blacks. And there's planning report for that, and I'm here to speak to that too, if need be. We're also recommending that council adopt a uniform planning fees bylaw, which would harmonize the fees that are collected on behalf of Eastern Charlotte across the municipality. So make sure that former LSDs and former areas of the municipality are paying the same fees for their planning services. And we have hired a new GIS technician who started last week, and they've been doing lots of work already, helping us get our mapping system a little bit more organized and in gear. And in terms of actual development, to date, there's been 86 building or demolition permits with a total construction value of a little over $9 million. There's been 27 zoning confirmation letters, 4 new in this period, 10 variances and terms and conditions approvals, 23 subdivision approvals with 2 new in this period, which have led to a total of 25 new lots and 7, remnant parcels. In terms of enforcement, the assistant clerk did mention that there are some files on the go right now. To date, this year, there's been 54 enforcement files, and 17 of those have been closed, and there are, as the assistant clerk mentioned, more in process. So that's the general planning report. I will do my best to answer any questions if there are any. And if not, Alex can get back to the questions that I cannot answer. So
Great. Thank you very much, Xander. You just stay there for 1 second. I'll go to council. And they have nothing. Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we have the fire report, and Chris McKinnon will give that tonight as well.
Okay, so between the 3 departments, St. George Fire Department, Blacks Harbor Fire Department, which would include the Penfield Fire Station and the Fundy Bay Fire Department, those 3 stations there, or 5 stations, 3 departments. St. George Fire responded to 27 total incidents over the month of October. Former Eastern Charlotte Regional Fire Service responded to 15, and the Fundy Bay Fire Department responded to 13. So that's a quick total of 55 calls last month.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Any question or comment on that report? If not, we'll move ahead to Public Works report and Councilor McQuarrie. Councilor McQuarrie, could you just turn your microphone on? Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
Want me to do it again?
There we go. No, that's fine. just
I figured they can't. I figured nobody can hear me. They're deaf.
Just pick up where I interrupted you. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, for St. George, the veteran banners were installed for Remembrance Day. Vehicle maintenance and repairs have taken up more time this fall due to age of the fleet. They've been having the catch basins cleaned on a regular basis so they don't get plugged up when it starts to rain. Guard railing on Clichy Street has been reinstalled. We had to contend with beaver issue on Brunswick Street. The new boundary signs have been going up to signify when you are entering a local community. The water break area in front of Elementary Street was patched with asphalt. We also added extra 2 inches of asphalt to the Riverview Avenue water break area in hopes that DTI will not tear the area up with the winter plowing. Good luck with that. We assisted the Blacks Harbor crew in getting some asphalt work done to finish their season. Winter preparations of the equipment have been ramped up to make sure everything is in good working order to start the season. Okay. Water usage for September was approximately 8.5 million gallons. Well 6 chlorine injection system is still having some sporadic problems. A repair was done and the pump is now working as it should. The fall hydrant flushing was done this past month, during which we found 2 hydrants that needed to be repaired, either due to leaks or broken internal parts. All parts were in stock and the repairs were carried out the same day. For sewer, the new pump for SLS number 4 came and was installed, getting that station back to full capacity. The floating docks at Canal and the Day Adventure Center were taken out of the water this season. The new canteen area at Canal Beach was winterized for the winter, at the same time. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilor McQuarrie. I just want to shout out to Ron Groom and Rick Levitt. That those guys are doing a great job, and all the crews that work under them. I know that they're going to have a busy season coming up. From what you've been telling me, Councilor McQuarrie, about the snow is a lot of snow coming this winter, so these guys are going to be quite busy this winter. So big shout out to those 2 guys and all the crews, because they do a good job year round, and we're going into the winter season now. It's going to be a little bit extra busier. Any other questions or comments on that, Councilor Dediradis? You're next.
Hopefully, Chris, you can answer this question. It's about the beaver comment, the beaver point. There was a beaver issue on Brunswick Street. Why did the municipality get involved? Was it because our infrastructure was jeopardized, or?
Well, all I can tell you is what's in the report.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I don't know much about that one.
Okay.
That's the first I'd seen it.
But
There was, yeah, it says it was causing water to back up into a residence's backyard, so it's probably to avoid any damage. If there was any damage reported, I'm pretty sure I would have heard about it.
Okay.
But it's to avoid that, so it hadn't gotten to a place where it would cause anything.
Okay.
We don't have any claims or incidents reports related to that, so.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, we'll move on to committee reports. Any councilor would like to give a committee report tonight? Councilor Hatt, you're first.
So for October until current, I'd like to begin by thanking Eastern Charlotte Fire Service for going to our local elementary schools for Fire Prevention Week and for hosting a community fire prevention evening here at the Macadavid Friday, October 13th. They were equipped with a bouncy house, fire trucks, information material, Sparky, and a mascot that even made a visit. Sparky the mascot, sorry. Typically on Mondays, as they become available, we have a thing called private skate times that are posted to Eastern Charlotte Parks and Recreation Facebook page. I've had a lot of people ask, what is a private skate? A private skate is essentially leftover available times for rent on short notice rate, which is $50. Also known as when COVID was going on, we also called it bubble skate. So Sundays are pucks and sticks from 1:30 to 3 p.m., followed by public skating from 3:15 to 5 p.m. The cost is $3 per person or $10 a family. Free skating are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. I also had the pleasure of attending the Remembrance Day service at Blacks Harbor Elementary School on Friday, November the 10th, as well as speaking and laying a wreath in memory of the fallen heroes on behalf of Eastern Charlotte at the Stella Maris Hall on Saturday, November the 11th. Thank you to all our veterans. Our Christmas kickoff weekend is right around the corner, beginning Thursday, November the 30th, 6 p.m., with a tree lighting ceremony that'll be at the Day Adventure Center. That way there, as you're traveling down the highway, you'll see a big, beautiful tree lit up. Friday, December the 1st, from 3 to 6 p.m. is live local music right here at Macadavid Community Center. On Friday evening, beginning at 6:30, is our Christmas parade, leaving from Vance's Auto Supplies, going to the Day Adventure Center. Santa will be also out handling treats after the parade. We're still looking for more people to join the parade or floats. If you would like to register, you can pre-register at the municipal office. There will be trophies for first, second, and third. And then on Saturday, December the 2nd, from 9 to 1 is the Christmas Craft Fair here at the community center. And then from 6:30 to 8:30 on Saturday evening, there will be a reverse parade, which is sponsored by Keith's Building Supplies. There will be cash prizes for first, second, and third. Any details on the reverse parade, please go to our Parks and Rec page or contact the municipal office. Sunday, December 3rd, from 4:30 to 6:30, there will be Skate with Santa at the Patrick Connors Recreation Complex. And like I said, if there's any more information that's needed on the Christmas kickoff, can be found on our Facebook page or by calling the municipal office. It's 755-4320, extension 101, or you can message me on Facebook or call me. Lastly, just a reminder, tomorrow evening is Ladies' Nights in Eastern Charlotte. So guys, there's your chance to get your Christmas presents. Thank you.
There we go. That's a good report. So December the 1st, you say Santa Claus is going to be in St. George? December 1st, is that a Friday night for the parade? Yes, excellent. Excellent. Santa Claus is going to be here, folks. You guys don't look too excited. Beautiful. Excellent. That's good news. Okay, that brings us to any other reports now? If not, we'll move on to the financial statement, and I'll go to Chris again. I'm giving you lots of work tonight.
I guess I don't really know. You have the statement there. We have the general report, finances, and the general account finances, utility finances. Yeah. There's not much to say other than what you got there.
Okay, any
We
questions?
would just need a motion to approve the financial
Yeah,
report.
okay, we'll look for a motion to approve that report. I'm going to go, Councilor Lee, you go first. So need a seconder for that motion. You go ahead and make the motion.
I move that the council accept the financial report for October 2023.
Great, we have a motion on the floor to accept the financial report for October 2023. I need a seconder for that motion. Councilor Lee, Councilor McKay, I mean? Councilor McKay made that second, or you second that? Okay, thank you. Question or comment on the motion? Councilor Dadavakis, you're first.
Hopefully, again, Chris, hopefully you can answer this question. It's on page 1124 for the general fund. It's about the SPCA. So it says for St. George, we went over 140% over budget. So what would that have been used for?
The beaver?
So- No.
No, okay.
No.
Just a guess.
Porcupine. I mean, the beaver. 140%.
The SPCA is our animal control.
Yeah.
So you said it was page 11 of 24?
Yeah, 11 to 24. It's line. Let me ECO1-222-8200
8200, okay.
or under 2761.
So it's $500 a month for St. George. I don't do those payables anymore, but
Yeah.
but we are billed separately for Blacks Harbor.
Yeah.
And we recently learned we were being billed for the former rural districts as well.
Okay.
So that was something we didn't know about at budget time
Yeah.
that we know about now.
Yeah.
So that's my understanding of why that's gone over budget.
Yeah. Because it's in here, just like, I don't know if you would know this, but like, it has a breakdown for the other for the other wards as
Yes, it
well.
does.
I was just wondering why it was so high in St. George.
The mayor likes the beaver.
It's
on
a
there.
beaver.
Yeah, that's Beaver Harbor. So I guess I don't know the
We'll
information
we'll
on
find out
that,
another
but I
time.
could take it back to finance and find out.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, because if I do the math at $500 a month, it's $6,000. So we still have a couple extra months that we have, because we get billed quarterly for that.
Councilor Hatt, you're next.
Yeah, because if you look at that same thing, it shows that Blacks hasn't paid anything.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that there's an error somewhere in the lines there.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary? That's passed unanimously. That brings us to, okay, did I miss something? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Dederakis.
I'd like to put a motion to set a date for a special committee of the whole meeting for, originally I was gonna say November 21st, but maybe we can stretch it a little bit longer, to Thursday, November 28th at 6:30 PM to discuss the 2024 municipal budget.
You said the 28th or 27th? You're getting this down, right?
28th.
Okay. Chris is just writing that down. Just wait until he gets it all down. Then I'm going to ask him to read it back.
That's a Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, I thought you said Thursday.
Oh, sorry, Thursday. Is that a Thursday? Yes. Let me just double check.
Okay, so.
No, the
okay.
28th is a Tuesday.
Okay, so it's a Tuesday, the 28th. Okay. Just wait 1 second. I'm going to get Chris.
Did you have a time and location
Yeah,
as well?
6:30.
6:30 here. Okay, so I have a motion for special committee of the whole on Tuesday, November 28th at 6:30 PM here at Megadavic Place to discuss the 2024 municipal budget.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor that was just read out. I need a second for the motion. Second, Councilor Hatt. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously.
Amazing.
That brings us to, there's old business, there's none.
Yes, there's one.
Oh, I'm sorry, 9A, there is, yeah. EC-08, respecting, we got a whole bunch of them actually tonight. Respecting the fire department.
Oh, yes, all business.
And this is bylaw number EC-08, respecting the fire department. I would need a motion on the floor for a third and final reading of bylaw EC-08. Yeah, what I'm going to do is before we have that motion, and Chris is going to say a couple words on it.
I just thought it would be prudent to mention that we did have a public hearing on this, as well as the next bylaw. We had that last Wednesday. We did have several people in attendance and received some good feedback. That was Wednesday evening. So Thursday and Friday, we made some edits that we posted online on Friday. And so this is the final edit that has been online since Friday of EC-08.
Yep. So I need a motion on the floor. Councillor Lee, second by Councillor McKay. Councillor McKay? Okay, great. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Hatt, you're first. I see the hand moving.
Question, so of the comments that came from the firefighters that stepped forward and had some questions around it, was there any of them that wasn't took under direction, I guess, is my question?
You mean that resulted in any changes? They were all discussed, but not every change was made. We did have several very good comments that we tried to accommodate as much as possible as far as reducing the vagueness of some things and putting in some standard metrics. We had already started to increase things like what used to be called the retirement age is no longer called the retirement age because of that discussion, as well as making it more of a limited service instead of a flat out, you can't do anything fire related anymore. It's one of the ways that it could have been read at retirement. We've made it a limited service at the discretion of the chief. We've also, like an example of one of those metrics is for absences in a range of dismissal. Just some other little small clarifications, but also some very good definitions and add-ons there.
The one around the fire chief allowing his members to use the fire hall, I assume, was one that got changed?
Over the overnight hours?
Yes.
Was not changed?
Was it changed?
Was not changed.
Was not.
That's-
It
Oh,
looks
they
like,
did add the unless approved by the fire chief.
yes, so it looks
So
like
it
that
has
was
to be
changed.
approved, it's not just an open use.
No, but the
it does
fire,
allow
that's
for
what they
use.
were asked. The fire chief
Yep.
would give them permission if they needed time.
Discretion, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. I hereby declare bylaw number EC-08, respecting the Eastern Charlotte Fire and Rescue Department, officially ratified here on November the 15th, 2023. 9B, bylaw EC-09, the remuneration of firefighters, and I need a motion on the floor for that. These are where the firefighters get paid, so maybe we need a motion for this. Councillor Lee.
I move that council accept the third and final reading by title only of bylaw EC-09, remuneration of firefighters.
Great, thank you, Councillor Lee. Second by Councillor McKay. Thank you. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah, that's passed unanimously. I hereby declare bylaw number EC-09, remuneration of firefighters, officially ratified here on November the 15th, 2023. 9C, Project Village Development Agreement. 9CI is the Lewis Connors Lane project, and they're looking to extend their time for one more year to November 30th. So we need a motion on the floor for that tonight. Councillor Tidd.
I move that council extend the development agreement for the Lewis Connors Lane project by Project Village to November 30th, 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Tidd. Seconded by Councillor McKay. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. New business tonight is, the first one we have is bylaw number EC-10. These are the planning fees bylaw. I think council has them all in front of you. What we need tonight is a motion for a first reading of this tonight. And then there'll be for a second reading afterwards. This just gets it into the public area by doing a first and second reading. This does not say that this is going to be the final say, as we did the other bylaws. So by doing a motion tonight, it doesn't tie you down to anything at this point. I need a motion for a first reading tonight. Councillor Lee.
I move that council accept the first reading bylaw only by title only of bylaw EC-10, planning fees bylaw.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Second by Councillor McQuarrie. Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Dedirakis, you're first.
I just have some questions for Xander, if you have a second.
Oh, he's still here. Look at that.
Yes.
You move quick. You move.
If you just go on the back of the paper, it's a list of the different services and the corresponding costs.
Yeah.
Could you just give a breakdown of like what's the difference between each of these services?
Yeah, I don't have them in front of me, so I'll try and remember them. Or if you want to read them out, I can respond to each one.
Like the one was one was a zoning confirmation letter versus a zoning compliance letter.
Okay,
so what's the difference in those two?
So a zoning confirmation letter is someone will request that, and we will send a letter saying, here is a list of all the things you can do on the property. It's fairly general. Compliance letter is someone says, I want to do this specific use. Here's a site plan. Can I do this? Can I use this site plan? So it's a little bit more in depth.
Okay.
The work that we need to do. Variance application. There's a few different kinds of variances. They can be dimensional, but that's usually something that's going to PRAC. Same with terms and conditions, temporary use. It's a fairly similar process for all of those. And the last one is if you have an approved subdivision, a tentative subdivision, technically that approval is only good for a year, but that can be extended. So that's, I believe, the exemption for documents under the Community Planning Act.
And I guess the other thing is like in terms of the cost, like how did you come to that cost?
These are what the province recommends. So this would be what is applicable in the rural district. This is what it was, still is in the former local service districts, and most municipalities have adopted these as well.
Perfect.
Councillor Hatt.
So comparing costs to the village and the old village and the old town of St. George, what are these costs? Obviously, they're going up; they're not going down. So
yeah. Again, it's bringing it in line.
Would we know a percentage of the cost increase, dollar amounts?
Well, I mean, I think some, for example, right now, the municipality of St. George has no fee for a zoning confirmation letter or compliance letter. In Blacks, I'm a little less sure because I've worked with that bylaw less. But again, it's pretty offset right now. Whereas we're in Penfield, these are the fees you're paying in Penfield right now. So yes, it will go up a little bit, but I would say that if you look comparatively around the province, St. George and Blacks have been paying quite low fees compared to what is seen in other municipalities and other areas. So it's kind of bringing it back up to.
That probably comes because they've paid fees along the way also, so
Yeah.
same as everybody else is.
Yeah.
Their taxes are paying towards these fees already once too.
So these are actually, the fees are going straight back to the municipality. So
Maybe somebody could come in and educate maybe some of us counselors that don't understand how this works then.
sure. I mean, generally, so you're paying a fee for a service with these. You're making a request that goes above and beyond what the bylaws allow you to do. And so that's a fee that goes straight to the municipality. It's not, and that's something that does go into paying for the services, but it's basically a fee for service rather than a service that is paid for out of tax dollars.
Mr. Mayor, I would ask that we ask the Service Commission to come to one of our meetings to be able to educate us on this before we take a vote.
Sure, yeah. Any other questions or comments on this? On this motion? All those in favor of the motion of a first reading of bylaw EC-10 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Councillor Hatt is in the contrary, and that motion is carried. I hereby declare that the first reading of bylaw EC-10, the planning fees bylaw. Now we move on to the same thing again, but this will be the second reading. I'll go to council. Would you like to have a second reading of this tonight? I need a motion on the floor. Councillor Tidd, you're making a motion?
I move that council accept the second reading in its entirety of bylaw EC-10 planning fees bylaw.
Great. I need a seconder for that. Councillor Lee. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of a second reading of EC-10, the planning fees bylaw, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that is Councillor Hatt, and that motion is carried. I hereby declare that the second reading of bylaw EC-10, the planning fees bylaw.
I would just add that bylaw will be on the website tomorrow and available at the municipal office to review a paper copy or to take home a paper copy as well, so you can actually see it in its entirety.
That's right. And just
Question for our worship on that then, if that's a comment by our acting clerk. Is the information there for the rest of the area to have the differences in cost that is from now till the new one?
It is not currently, but it can be. I can try and dig that up and post that as well.
Okay, just to remind council, or remind the public, in another minute or so, we'll set a date for a public hearing for that bylaw. The next item in our agenda tonight is a request for the views of the PRAC. On this bylaw tonight, we will go to the PRAC and ask what they think about the planning fees bylaw. So I need a motion for that tonight. Councillor Lee.
I move that council request the views of the PRAC regarding bylaw number EC-10, planning fees bylaw.
Great, and we have a motion on the floor by Councillor Lee. I need a seconder for that. Councillor McKay, thank you. And PRAC stands for what, Chris? I know people out there are going to say, what the heck is PRAC? Can you just tell people what PRAC is?
I don't know the R.
It's the
what?
Planning Review and Adjustment Committee.
Right.
The regional planning advisory committee.
Yeah, it used to be the PAC, the Planning
Yeah.
Advisory Committee, when it was
Exactly.
local to the municipality.
Yep. I always hate them when they put letters up there. I want to explain to the public what they all are. Any
Can
questions
ask,
or comments on this motion?
Raymond too, he's on it.
Councillor Hatt, you're first.
Who are the committee members that are on that, and are they to our municipality, local area?
We have one.
So yeah, Raymond is the local representative, and then we have representatives from St. Stephen, Fundy Shores, McAdam, Campobello, Graminan has their own PAC, St. Andrews has their own PAC. And I think there's the chairs from Bocabec, a couple of people from St. Stephen, but we tried to get people from LSDs and municipalities at the original formation of it. It's pretty much stayed like that.
So that committee meets the whole around Eastern Charlotte issues, not just Eastern Charlotte?
No, so they will meet to discuss any, so again, the municipalities that don't have their own PACs, PRAC is their body that makes these decisions on variances. They are the ones that give the views on bylaw, so they might be doing it for St. Stephen, they might be doing it for Eastern Charlotte, they might be doing it for Campobello, McAdam, could be somewhere in the rural district as well.
So technically, we have one vote out of them all about issues that are in our area when they go for review?
You could look at it that way, but I would say, I mean, it's not typically, like, there's not competition, like, it's like a dimensional variance on a setback, like, that's typically what they're looking at, so it's, I wouldn't say it's they're making a decision about, like, over the wishes of the area, and there is often deference to the person who is from that area in a decision for that area, so.
Do they all vote on the item?
Yes, they all vote. Views on bylaw is more of a consensus discussion than an actual vote.
That was a simple question. Do they vote on the item?
They vote on variances and things like that. Views on bylaws, no, they don't vote.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Xander, but letters from the PRAC are advisory. They're not they don't have any.
They are advisory. There are certain things that are required of council if the views of PRAC say don't adopt this bylaw, then I think you need a majority, 2/3 majority of council rather than just a simple majority to approve it.
That's correct, yeah. That actually happened in Fredericton this past
Yes,
week.
it did.
It did, yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, what am I requiring? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that is passed unanimously. Okay, now we're going to set the date for our public hearing, and this is for the bylaw for the planning fee bylaws, and we need a night so the public can come in and tell us what they think about it. So I need a motion on the floor for that. Councillor Tidd?
I move that council schedule a public hearing of objections to bylaw EC10 planning fee bylaw on Wednesday, December 13th, 2023 at 6:30 to be held at McDavid Place.
Great, thank you, Councillor Tidd. We need a seconder for that motion. Councillor Dedirakis? Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. So that's December the 13th, folks. That moves us on to a 10B, Blacks Harbor Bylaw number Z.2.3, amendment to the Rural Plan Rezoning PID 15166-721. And just to be clear, this is the property that used to be the Village Hall in Blacks Harbor, is that correct? Okay. I always hate using PID numbers when we're talking to the public because people want to know exactly what it is. So at this point, we need a first reading for this tonight to accept the first reading by title of Blacks Harbor Bylaw number Z.2.3, amendment to the rural plan. I need a motion on the floor for that. Councillor Tidd.
I move that council accept the first reading by title only, Blacks Harbor Bylaw Z2-3, amendment to the rural plan of rezoning PID 15166-721, which is the former Village Hall.
Can we have a motion on the floor? I need a seconder for that motion. Councillor Lee, just by here. You want to say something? Okay, gotcha. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to 10 B11 or II, whatever they call that, second reading in its entirety. The same thing again, same area, but this is just the second reading of the bylaw Z.2.3. I need a motion on the floor for a second reading of that. Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor McKay. Thank you. Question or comment on the second reading of bylaw Z.2.3, amendment to the rural plans rezoning PID 15166-721. All those in favor of the motion signify by... Oh, you have a question. I'm sorry, Councillor Hatt.
So does this bylaw, it's the change coming from the Service Commission? That was filled
No,
out.
this is requested by the applicant, which is Silk Stevens on behalf of Connor Brothers. We prepare the bylaw, like we recommend that to council, and we would give recommendations on the development agreement as well, but they made the application.
So you recommend this bylaw?
I would recommend going through the process, yes, and I would recommend it too.
You don't see any issue with a commercial being on both sides of trying to change something into residential?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Okay. Question or comment, Councillor Dedereckers, you had something or no? No, okay. Any question or comment on the second reading? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Now, okay, and Chris is now going to read that in its entirety at this point.
So this is bylaw number Z23, a bylaw to amend bylaw number Z2, being the rural plan for the village of Blacks Harbor. Be it enacted by the council of the municipality of Eastern Charlotte as follows. Bylaw number Z2, the rural plan for the village of Blacks Harbor, is amended by changing the zone as shown on the zoning map attached to the said bylaw as Scheduled A thereof for the lands shown on the Schedule 1 attached hereto, and forming part hereof from institutional zone to high-density multifamily zone R3.
Great, thank you, Chris. Now, what we're going to be doing next, council, is the same thing we did with the last bylaw, is there's going to be two more motions. The first motion is to send it to, this item to PRAC again, and I need a motion on the floor to send this off to them for their views on this. Councillor Lee, seconded by Councillor McClory. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Now, we're going to do now, folks, is set a public hearing for this rezoning. And this is, that's before council at the moment. Would you like to, somebody like make a motion for that? Councillor Tidd. Great, we have a motion on the floor for a public hearing on December the 13th at 6:30. I need a second for that motion. Councillor Lee? Question or comment on the motion? Councillor Hatt, you're first.
Just curious if there's an option of this to be held at some place like the Stella Maris Hall in Blacks Harbor for senior residents and people being able to get out to it, seeing it's a zoning issue right in Blacks.
I would just say that if we do want to change the location, we'll need to change the date, or make it at a later time, because it is based on the Councillor Tidd's motion, it would be at the same time and place as the EC10 bylaw.
My question is just for council to take it under advisement.
Okay, we still have a motion on the floor. Any more questions or comments on the motion? Councillor Tidd?
I'm willing to amend that motion
Mm-hmm. And in your amendment would be?
to change the location to the Stella Maris Hall in Blacks Harbor. The time and location, we may have to double check to make sure that's not booked before we make that commitment. But I would say that considering it is an issue in the former municipality, that we would move that meeting to be located where the residents are going to be affected.
Yeah, it can't be on December 13th because we already have a meeting on the 13th here, so it can't be in two places at once. So I guess this would have to be amended to say at a time and date. I don't think we're allowed to do that. You have to have a specific time and date, don't we?
Mayor, if I may suggest, we have another public meeting that's going to be coming up on November the 28th. We could definitely add it into that agenda for announce a date, I would think.
So we do need a minimum 21 days notice.
Yeah.
Where we're looking at a rural plan amendment.
Yeah, so December 13th is actually the minimum? Yeah.
I would suggest we probably have to table it then if we can't come to an agreement until we.
Yeah, before I can do that, I have to go to Councillor Lee to see if he's in agreement of this.
I am.
You get good, thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have a motion on the floor to table this by Councillor Tidd, who actually made the motion to begin with. And then I'm going to, Councillor McKay is going to second that motion. So now we're just on the motion to table. Question or comment on this? All those in favor of tabling this item to later, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. Great, thank you. That moves us on to 10C, which is the Province Municipal Highway Partnership, PMHP. And this is a motion to approve and submit Eastern Charlotte's list of priorities for the Province Municipal Highway Partnership for 2025-2026. Chris, you want to speak on this first?
Sure. So this used to be known as the Municipal Designated Highway Program. The province has elected to change the name and kind of the way it works, and has asked for a list of our priorities for 2025 and 2026. So we are looking at, for 2025, to pave, pulverize and pave Route 172 from the corner of Lateet Road and Mascarene Road to the old town limits. If you drive from St. George to Back Bay often, you'll notice that the road changes very quickly after our town limits to some nice paved road. And we just want to make sure everything is all together with that. And then for 2026 is Route 172 on Mount Pleasant Road, trying to get back to the curb and sidewalk reconstruction that we continue to ask for there on Mount Pleasant Road. So this doesn't necessarily tie the province to these projects, but it tells them this is what we have for our priorities and what our projected cost is, and asking them to make them our goals for those years.
Great. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion from council. Councillor Lee.
I move that council approve and submit Eastern Charlotte's list of priorities for the province municipality highway partnership for 2025-2026.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Seconded by Councillor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? Yeah. Councillor McQuarrie, you're first.
Can we add to this? Is this written in stone, or can we add more to it?
Chris.
So it's my understanding that we only can do one project per year. Based on, I believe, the cost is why we're looking at that, but I don't really know for sure what the criteria is on that. But they asked for our project for each year. Typically, we only have, typically we did a 5-year plan under the municipal designated highway, and we would have projects, one for each year still listed there. So it is a 1-year project limit as far as I know.
Any other questions or comments on the motion?
Yes.
Councillor
So all
Hack,
the
you're
ones
next.
that were like last year on the 5-year plan for places, where are they now if this is going to be trumped by that and we only have one project? And how did that list come to?
Well, one of the tricky parts of the municipal designated highway program is it's not set in stone, so to speak. We have had the curb and sidewalk project tried to be pushed higher on our list year after year. And there have been a couple years where the province just said, we're not going to do the municipal designated highway project this year. So it's all at the discretion of the province if they're willing to spend the money in the first place. And one of these is, I don't know for sure about the Fundy Bay Drive. I think it is also, but it's just become more of an issue road-wise that we needed to put that one first.
Because I know there was a list that we generated as councilors to go on that list, and only 2 out of that whole list doesn't seem to be right.
I don't have that information, but I can pass it along to the CAO.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. 10D, reallocation of Fundy Bay fire funds. I need a motion on the floor. Maybe Chris will speak on this first before we have a motion.
Okay, so we were expecting a fire truck in the Fundy Bay Department. Here, we've expected delivery at a couple different times here in 2023, as well as possibly 2022, if the discussions around this, if I understand things correctly. Upon receipt would be our first payment of $50,000, where that is not going to be until at least sometime in 2024. We have $50,000 in that station that is up for being spent. So we have a request from Fire Chief Johnston to spend the funds on several different projects. You've got a quote there in your packet of the different things that are involved, but it includes air packs, air bottles, face pieces, and a gas meter for the Back Bay Fire Station, coming in a little over $49,000. So when the chief went and looked at what was required, this was his recommendation based on the funds that were available.
Okay, I'll look for council for a motion on this. Councillor McQuarrie?
I move that council reallocate the 2023 Fundy Bay fire truck payment to whatever account that's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. To purchase air packs and air bottles. Yeah. Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor McQuarrie, seconded by Councilor Tidd. Question or comment on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to correspondence tonight. We had one from Granite Town Gardeners, which was actually read out last month. They are actually here and said it. The second one we have tonight is from the Eastern Charlotte Lions Club, and that letter. Does all council have that letter? If not, I'll either do. I'm seeing everybody nodding their head. What would council like to do with that tonight? I'm looking for anything they would like to do with that. Councilor Dedorakis.
Okay. I move that council make a donation to the Eastern Charlotte's Lions Club Santa Finds All Children telethon in the amount of $1,000.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilor Dedorakis to give $1,000 to the Eastern Charlotte Lions Club for the children's club telethon. Councilor Lee, you're second to that. Question or comment on the motion?
I have
Councilor
a
Tidd,
question. So at past practice for both municipalities, what was the total that we gave? In the past, what has been given to the telethon by?
In the past, so in the village of Blacks Harbor, in 2021, it was $500. In 2022, it was $1,000. In the former town of St. George for 2022, it was $1,000. And I wasn't able to find information prior to 2022 from St. George.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary, and that's passed unanimously. That brings us to the public presentation and appearances. That is the, please note under bylaw EC-01, section 7.1, members of the public shall be entitled to address council for 5 minutes with no debate from council on matters of municipal jurisdiction. I ask that you begin by giving your name and civic address for the record up here. But I also ask tonight that I won't allow anybody to make accusations against anybody on any subject that works for Eastern Charlotte or any members of council or anybody else for that matter. If that happens, I'll have to stop you and I have to escort you out of the room. So you have 5 minutes. Councilor Rubin, welcome.
Councilor McQuarrie done a fine job tonight. Sam Rubin, 33 Mount Pleasant Road, St. George. Council made a motion to spend $12,000 on the study of intersections which are controlled by the province in St. George. A few things that were done: bushing, certain improvement for sure. No parking zone extended, should go a little bit longer. The sign's been moved, there should be another one put up. The rail maybe at the church, might have to look at doing something there. Flashing light, rumble strips. Besides direct changing the road, which would be very costly, I don't see that happening. The Mount Pleasant Road area, I've lived on Mount Pleasant Road and worked there for 45 years. It's a high volume traffic area. There's driveways on both sides of the road next to the Irving. There's 3 on one side and 3 on the other. There's students crossing there quite often on Lateet Road. Doing anything different there might be more hazard than it would be to the cure. One thing you could do, if you notice coming down the hill, you'll see a sign that says stop ahead. It's leaning sideways. Look beyond that, you will not even see the stop sign at the bottom of the hill because it's laid over quite a lot. Simple fix, straighten them up. There's probably not a whole lot you can do there, but you can ask, I guess, is, you know, for the $12,000, could we have done something different? I really don't know. It's, you know, it's one of those things that you can try. In front of the elementary school, the road repair took 9 months to repair. 9 months. I'm going to go back to safety. It's in front of an elementary school, next to a business, gravel on the road, quite continuously there all season. Next to the mall entrance, in and out. That should have been fixed long before then, at least temporarily, like it is now, but it's better than, you know, it could have been. But patching of the roads. We like to patch potholes, but we really don't need to make speed bumps. This time of year is not the time to be doing that kind of work. It just will not pack down good, you know, with the roller or what have you. Maybe a plate compactor might work. You should be doing it in June and July when it's hot. It's easier to work with. You just don't get a good job. It costs you more money. Layering asphalt on the Riverview Avenue Road, well, a little more money at the first might have been a little better job for through the winter, but it's better than it was. The Telegraph-Journal and the CBC News reported that the community was unsuccessful to get a loan from the Capital Borrowing Board for housing projects. As people around this table know, some know that Capital Borrowing Board is not meant for housing and could put quite a deficit on the community that's being borrowed against if something happens to go wrong and it doesn't get completed. The financial report for 6 months of this year, no one knew what was going on. We got a little insight for a short time. Now we're not being told anything. I think the public really should know roughly how much it's costing to run this community. It's quite a lot of money. There's quite a lot going on. A lot of money is being spent. That's all people need to know. They don't need to know where it's being spent on. Just the magnitude of how much is being spent. You get into $7 million, $7.5 million, that's quite a lot of money. People should know where that's actually going to. You know, sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. Thank you very much. I will say sorry about that, Mr. Mayor.
That's all right.
the bylaw meeting that held for the fire service was quite informative.
Yes,
there were some very good comments made on that and some good suggestions made and some general concerns of how that should actually move forward. I think that should work. You know, with a little tweaking could be all right. Yep. I think everybody should be quite happy. They're doing a great job for us in their service and hope you continue to do so. Thank you.
Great. Just to make a comment on that, that's a good reason why we have the public meetings to gauge the public and get their opinions on the bylaws that come forward. That's why it's always good. I always tell council, always put the bylaws into the first reading, so at least we get the opportunity to hear from the public. Anybody else tonight would like to speak?
Raymond Hall, 108 Mount Pleasant Road. Concerning the patching, is there anything that you can do as a council to say, like 30 days after a pipe repair has to be done or has been done, that you can say it can be patched within 30 days? I know the tendering process. I deal with the tendering process with my work. So I think that there should be something in your bylaws to be able to fix that in a much quicker rate. Secondly, the prac. We don't do emotional decisions, we do factual decisions. When things come to us, we look at the general area, what's been done in the past, what's best for each community, what's best for each area. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and hopefully I can do it for another 10 or 15 if I'm allowed. I enjoy doing it. I like it, I've learned a lot. But I think to Councillor Hatt's comment. Yes, I think that they should have somebody come in and explain some things to you so you understand fully what we do. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Raymond. And actually, you are doing a great job on the PrAC. Your name came up one of the last meetings, and they said that I just asked, because they asked about the membership, and they said you're doing a great job. So thank you. Anybody else tonight? Yes. I think I have to get up.
Good day. My name's Kenny Murray. I'm representing the St. George Legion, and on behalf of the St. George Legion, I want to thank the town council to putting up our banners, and on behalf of the St. George Legion, I'd like to send them a check for $2,000 for our appreciation.
Well, thank you very much. That's awesome. You just bring it right over, Ken. Save me. Thank you very much. Big round of applause. No, we really appreciate that. That means a lot. We actually appreciate the Legion. You guys got good membership there, and things are going well there. So, thank you very much for doing that tonight. You're welcome very much. Thank you. I tell you, it was an honor to be at the Legion Remembrance Day service too here in St. George, and the dinner they had that night was just probably the best dinner I've had in a long time. Good people there. Thank you. Anybody else tonight? If not, we'll go to statements by members of council. I just have a couple of small ones. A huge congratulations tonight to Jimmy and Florence Hawkins of the Beaver Harbor Community Venture Group for receiving the Quarter Century Award presented to volunteers for outstanding long-term service to the Heritage community. The Heritage New Brunswick Association held its annual conference in Sussex last week and highlighted the work of the exceptional people in our communities who commit so much time and care to ensuring New Brunswick's heritage is preserved and shared. We are fortunate to have such dedicated volunteers who put community first and the preservation of our important heritage. So again, congratulations to Jimmy and Florence Hawkins. Another Jimmy, and tonight, congratulations to Jimmy and Anna Tucker on their 65th wedding anniversary today. I was at their home today to present them a certificate from Eastern Charlotte. As many of you may know, some of you may know or not know, Jimmy was a past minister of fisheries here in New Brunswick, and actually a Speaker of the House in Richard Hatfield's government. So 65 years to Anna and Jimmy. Congratulations. And we'll go to Councillor Hatt at this point.
The only thing I have is I'd like to give direction to our mayor to try to get our CAO and Mark Porter to get together with us as council to start kind of getting into the line items of budget. I think it's at that state that we should start doing that.
Councillor Dedirakis.
Couple things. Yesterday was setting day, and I'd like to wish all the lobstermen a prosperous season and remind them to stay safe out there. Secondly, as we move slowly towards wintertime, I'd like to remind everyone of the Fundy Arena in Blacks Harbor and the Patrick's O'Connor Recreational Complex, which is a great place to go for a skate or perhaps watch some Charlotte County minor hockey. Either way, it's a great thing that we have here in our municipality. We have set a date on November 28th for our public budget talk. I know that as a new entity, you know, there has been some challenges along the way, and there's some missing pieces of the puzzle. But I hope that our CAO and Mark Porter can present what information we currently have available and identify and explain to council publicly what other pieces of information are missing. I think this will be a positive step forward. And I believe our community would appreciate the opportunity to get to know our budget on a more detailed level.
Thank you, Councillor Dedirakis, and you're due here for the next couple of weeks?
That is correct.
Excellent. Any names picked out yet?
No, that will be decided after, I think. Yeah.
Councillor McCory. Councillor Lee. Councillor Tidd.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I was honored to attend the Remembrance Day ceremony in Beaver Harbor and lay a wreath on behalf of the municipality. It was greatly attended and greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Councillor Tidd, for doing that. Councillor McKay.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's cold and I kind of want to be home in bed, but anyway, so I appreciate you guys coming. And I just want to let everybody know that gets up and comments how much it's appreciated. Your thoughts and your insight is very much appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Councillor Chris? No, nothing for you. Okay, nothing. Date and location of the next meeting is December 20th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at Macadavic Place here, right here. That's just a few days before Christmas. We'll have tried to make that meeting a little quicker that night. Okay, I need a motion for adjournment at this point. Councillor McCrory. That's it. I declare the meeting closed. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming.